Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going down a rabbit hole I never saw coming.
Oh,
The unexpected link between AI and nuclear power.
okay.
I use AI tools all the time,
Yeah.
but I never really stopped to think about the energy it takes to run those things.
Yeah. That's something we often overlook. The whole AI revolution is happening in data centers.
Right.
These massive server farms that just guzzle energy to keep those algorithms churning.
Yeah.
And as AI gets more powerful, that energy demand, well, it's only going to skyrocket.
That's where source material comes in. A recent release from FN Media Group that's got me thinking differently about how we power the future.
Okay.
They're highlighting this emerging connection between AI and nuclear power.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I was skeptical at first, but the more I dug into it, the more fascinating it got.
It does challenge our assumptions, doesn't it? We
Right.
tend to associate nuclear power with, well, the past.
Yeah.
But this report paints a very different picture, arguing that new nuclear technologies might be crucial to a sustainable AI-powered world.
Okay, so let's break this down for our listeners. FN Media Group throws out some pretty eye-opening stats.
Okay.
Data center energy consumption could double by 2026.
Wow.
Like seriously double. And Goldman Sachs is saying this surge is driven largely by AI applications,
Right.
the things you use every day.
Exactly. We're talking about everything from the recommendation algorithms that shape your online shopping to the voice assistants in your homes. These AI systems are becoming embedded in our lives,
Yeah.
and they're hungry for energy.
And that's where nuclear power comes in. The article points out all the benefits: continuous energy supply, low emissions, and incredibly high energy density. But I've always thought of nuclear as this,
Yeah.
risky, complicated technology. How does it fit into this picture?
The key here is innovation. We're not talking about the same kind of reactors that powered our parents' generation. The focus is on new technologies like small modular reactors, or SMRs, which are designed to be safer, more efficient, and even adaptable for different uses.
SMRs. I admit I need a little ELI 5 here. What exactly are these things and why are they such a big deal?
Think of them like building blocks for a power plant, instead of one massive reactor. SMRs are smaller, self-contained units that can be combined in different ways to meet specific energy needs.
So it's like a more flexible, scalable approach to nuclear power.
Exactly. And they're designed with enhanced safety features to address some of those concerns you mentioned earlier.
Right.
Plus, they can be used for more than just generating electricity. They can also produce things like hydrogen fuel and even desalinate water,
Wow.
which is pretty incredible.
Okay, now I'm seeing the potential here.
Yeah.
So we have this massive energy demand from AI, and we have this new generation of nuclear technology that might just be the answer. But who's actually making this happen?
The article highlights several companies that are at the forefront of this movement. Let's start with Nuscale Power, a company that's leading the charge in SMR technology. They're actually the first company to receive design certification from the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission for their SMR design. That's a huge milestone.
Wow, so they're really the pioneers in this field. It makes you wonder if this is the start of a whole new nuclear renaissance.
It's certainly possible. And Nuscale isn't the only player. There's another company, QLR Technology Group, that's doing some really interesting work with a material called carbon fiber cathodes.
Carbon fiber cathodes.
So these cathodes were originally designed for aerospace applications, even used on the Mars rover.
Wow.
But now they're being adapted for nuclear fusion in SMRs.
Wait, hold on. Cathodes. Fusion. Okay, I need a quick refresh on the science here. What exactly are cathodes, and how do they fit into nuclear fusion?
Think of a cathode like a positive terminal in a battery. It attracts negatively charged particles. In the case of nuclear fusion, these cathodes play a key role in controlling the superheated plasma. That drives the fusion reaction.
So QLR is basically taking technology that was developed for space exploration and applying it to clean energy production here on Earth.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing. But why carbon fiber specifically? What's so special about this material?
Carbon fiber is incredibly strong and lightweight, which is why it's so useful in aerospace.
Okay.
But it also has amazing heat resistance and electrical conductivity, making it ideal for handling the extreme conditions inside a fusion reactor.
So they're basically using this super tough, high-tech material to help harness the power of nuclear fusion. That's pretty wild.
It is, and it speaks to the potential of cross-industry innovation. Who would have thought that technology designed for the Mars rover could help us solve our energy challenges here on Earth?
All right, so we've got NuScale leading the way with SMRs and Kellogg's pushing the boundaries with fusion technology. But I'm curious, are there any companies that are specifically focused on using AI to make nuclear power even better? Because that seems like a natural fit.
You're thinking along the right lines. There's a company called Nuclear Energy that's focusing on microreactors, even portable ones. And they've partnered with a company called Everstar to use AI for everything from design analysis to regulation of their nuclear power systems. Talk about bringing things full circle.
Okay, that's really interesting. We've gone from AI driving the demand for energy to potentially helping us build the next generation of nuclear power plants. This is getting pretty meta. But before we dive deeper into these companies, I want to turn it back to our listeners for a minute.
Absolutely. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think about the potential of AI and nuclear power working together? Is this a solution you're excited about, or do you have concerns? Share your comments with us, and while you're at it, if you're enjoying this deep dive, don't forget to share it with others who might find it interesting too. We'll be back soon with part 2, where we'll delve deeper into the companies shaping this unexpected partnership. Welcome back to part 2 of our deep dive into AI and nuclear power. Before the break, we were talking about some specific companies working in this space. Right.
No scale, QLR, and nano-nuclear energy.
Right, and I'm really curious to unpack what they're doing a bit more. You mentioned No Scale is kind of leading the way with SMRs. And they've even got that design certification from the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. That's a big deal, right?
Absolutely. It means their design has met rigorous safety and performance standards, clearing a major hurdle for wider adoption. And what's fascinating about no-scale's SMRs is they're designed to be incredibly flexible.
Okay.
They can be scaled up or down to meet different energy demands, from powering a small town to
Yeah.
potentially a massive data center.
So it's like a customizable power source. That seems like a huge advantage over those giant traditional nuclear plants. But I'm still a bit fuzzy on how this all connects back to AI. How do these companies see themselves fitting into that world?
Well, let's take Oklo Inc. They're another company mentioned in the FN Media Group report, and their focus is squarely on meeting the power needs of AI data centers.
Okay.
Their CEO, Jacob DeWitt, was quoted saying, "There's crazy amounts of demand for nuclear power from this sector." Okay, that makes sense. AI needs power, and lots of it. Nuclear can deliver that. But what about the companies behind the AI, the ones actually building these energy-hungry systems?
That's where NVIDIA comes in. They're the dominant force in the AI chip market. And their chips are the brains behind many of the AI applications you use every day.
Right.
The report even cites the Motley Fool, calling them the most influential company in AI right now.
Wow. So if anyone's feeling the pressure of this energy crunch,
Hmm.
it's got to be NVIDIA. Are they explicitly looking at nuclear power as a solution?
While the report doesn't mention specific plans from NVIDIA, it's not hard to connect the dots. They're facing the same challenge as everyone else, how to power the AI revolution sustainably. And nuclear is emerging as a serious contender.
This whole thing is starting to feel like a feedback loop, right?
Right.
AI is driving the need for more power,
Mhm.
and nuclear is stepping in to provide it. But then you've got companies like nano-nuclear energy using AI to make nuclear itself more efficient. It's like this symbiotic relationship.
Precisely. And it highlights a key point that the report makes. Innovation is happening on both sides of this equation. It's not just about finding new sources of energy, it's also about using AI to optimize those sources and make them even cleaner and safer.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a minute and look at the big picture. What are the broader implications of this potential partnership between AI and nuclear power?
This report is really making me think about the future of energy in general. You know, if we're serious about tackling climate change, we need reliable, clean energy sources.
Yeah,
Nuclear, especially these new SMRs, could be a game changer.
I'm starting to see that too. It's not just about powering our computers and smartphones. It's about electrifying transportation, heating our homes, and powering entire industries, all without relying on fossil fuels.
Exactly. And what's exciting is this report is just a snapshot of what's happening right now. Imagine what the next 5, 10 years will bring as these technologies continue to develop and converge.
It really feels like we're on the cusp of something big. But with any new technology, there are always concerns. What are some of the potential downsides or risks that we need to be aware of as this partnership unfolds?
You bring up a great point. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement of new technology, but we have to be mindful of the potential downsides too.
Right. So where do those concerns lie with AI and nuclear power?
Well, one area that comes to mind is regulation and oversight. Nuclear technology, even in the form of SMRs, requires strict safety protocols and international cooperation to prevent any misuse.
Yeah.
The report doesn't go into great detail on this, but it's a crucial consideration as this partnership evolves.
That makes sense. We're talking about powerful technology here, and we need to make sure it's handled responsibly. Are there other concerns that stand out to you?
There's the question of accessibility and equity. The report highlights how nuclear power could empower countries to become more energy independent. But what about the countries that lack the resources or infrastructure to adopt these new technologies? Could this exacerbate existing inequalities?
That's a really important point. It's not enough to just develop new technology. We need to ensure it benefits everyone, not just a select few. It seems like there's a lot to consider beyond just the technical aspects.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to have these conversations now. As this partnership between AI and nuclear power is still in its early stages, we have a chance to shape the direction of this technology and ensure it's used for good.
Okay, so we've explored the potential benefits,
Hmm.
the challenges, the big picture implications, and some of the concerns surrounding this unexpected pairing. As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, what are your final takeaways? What's sticking with you the most?
What's striking me is the sheer scale of this potential transformation. We're not just talking about tweaking existing systems, we're potentially talking about a fundamental shift in how we power the world.
Ah.
And it's all being driven by this incredible convergence of AI and nuclear technology.
I'm with you on that. It feels like we're witnessing the beginning of something truly significant. But as you said, it's not a simple story. There are challenges to overcome
Yeah,
and ethical considerations to address.
exactly. And that's where our listeners come in. This is a conversation that needs to happen beyond just this deep dive.
Right. We need everyone's voices in this. So to our listeners, we're throwing it back to you. What are your thoughts on this potential partnership? What excites you? What concerns you? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you know someone who might find this conversation interesting, please share it with them. The more perspectives we have, the better equipped we'll be to navigate this complex landscape.
That's it for this deep dive into AI and nuclear power. Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery. Remember, the future is not something that happens to us. It's something we create together.